Alright, let's jump into some Smalland tips and tricks you need to know. Alright, you're probably interested in gliding, of course, if you're just starting out in Smallands. It does take stamina to glide, so the higher up you are as you go down, the more stamina you burn. So right before you hit the ground, you can activate fly again, and you won't take fall damage. So let's just demonstrate that for a moment. So we're to jump. We activate it before we hit the ground, we slow fall. Alright, and that counts. So keep that in mind when you're gliding. And how do you get the gliding wings? Well, let's go into the map. Now up here in the northeastern side of the map is someone named Tristana. They have the wings, but it's not so easy to get. You have to kill geckos to get herpentile leather, and then turn it into, or herpentile skin and turn it into herpentile leather. It's easy to find geckos here in the south, which, as you play the game and progress, you start here, work your way to this guy, work your way down here, and then down here, and you fight your first boss. Alright, so this is where you get flint, geckos. Now, you also need 10 insect wings. The easiest way to farm the insect wings is to kill dragonflies, which so happens you find them in the south as well pretty easily. Okay, so you may have heard you can rush the wings and glide early on in the game. Depends on what you mean by rush and early on, right? But if you do want the wings, you also have to use a tanning rack, or a tannery. So you're going to need refined wood. To get refined wood, you need a stone cutter, and you need seeds. Alright, we're going to go over food real quick, just to get, and let's show you how that works. So when you first start out, you can make food at the campfires, right? So I have a campfire, you can make some food here. Alright, if you notice, the food here give you 30 nourishment, and blocks nourishment loss for 180 seconds. Now, let's take a look. Every single recipe does that. So the easiest one to make here, of course, is going to be whatever you have the most of, but probably mushroom steak, right? You may also end up with a lot of ant heads, so you can make ant skewer. The rest of the stuff just isn't worth your time. It would just take so long to get the ingredients for it, and you can use those for better things. Except maybe roach meat if you're killing lots of roaches. And then the next tier, of course, if you look in your cauldron here, the next tier up is the same thing. Almost everything gives you 50 nourishment with 360 of blocking nourishment loss. Now some of these do have side effects such as cold protection, which can be nice for 240 seconds, but as you'll notice, that's pretty much all these do right now. And then of course, we can make the treats, which you unlock by doing certain things in the game. Okay, we'll get back to the tames in just a second. I wanted to go over something real quick with the food. Alright, so you notice my food is 51, so I go in here and I'll eat this, which will give me 30 more, so I should have like 81. What blocks nourishment loss for 180 seconds? So here's the thing. If, say, my food was at 10, I eat one of these. Alright, so we eat one. There we go. You'll notice on the bottom right-hand side of my screen, there is a stomach icon next to a green health icon. That stomach icon is running out when that runs. So I shouldn't eat again until that one runs out, because I'm not going to start losing food until that runs out. So eating another piece of food right now would be a waste. Now, there will be times where that's not true. Say you want to heal and you don't want to waste your healing supplies. But you have a line on your bar here for food that's around 70 or 75. Once you cross that threshold, you'll passively heal a little bit at a time. So as long as you're not in combat too often, you keep it above that line, you'll constantly heal. But other than that, you just mostly want to eat whenever your nourishment runs out, so that you're never draining your food. Okay, now back to what I was saying about taming. So, when you have a tame and you spawn into the game, of course, you know, if you leave the game and come back in, you spawn at your bed. That's another trick you can do if you're out and about in the world, and you just want to come back to your bed. You know, you're farming, you fill up your inventory, you want to come back and put it in your chest. Boom, log out, log back in, bed. Right? So anyway, when you log out and back in, if you've told your pet to wait, right, so it's not following you. Well, when you log back in, it's following you, so you have to tell it to stop following you again. So for now, we're going to have it follow us instead of wait, so you can kind of see Ladybug is not a mount like the other ones. This one, you just ride, it just follows you. You can use it, right, and it holds inventory. Right? It's a nice little chest that follows you around. The problem is, it aggroes enemy bugs, and they can kill it. So you have to protect it very carefully. Honestly, and I don't know. Unless you're playing in peaceful mode, this really doesn't seem like a great bug to bring with you. But here's another trick. Now, something you may be curious about tames. If you already have one, you can't tame another one. So if you've been trying to tame another one, you can't figure out why it's not possible. That's why. You can only have one at a time. So if I want to go tame a gecko, I have to release the ladybug. Alright, so we're going to release the ladybug, and then we're going to go tame the gecko to show you how to tame. Okay. Oh, cool. And if the ladybug has inventory items, it apparently drops them on the ground for you. Which, we don't need those, so we'll move on. Alright, so before we tame this gecko, we need to repair our stuff real quick. So I'm going to show you something with the repair bench here. So workbench, we go to repair. You notice some of our stuff has a little bit of damage, but it costs nothing to repair it. And if you didn't know, when you're in the workbench, there's a craft and a repair, which you can just tab over with whatever the controls are. For me, I'm using a controller, so it's LB and RB. Anyway, so when you go to repair, there's no cost if it's only slightly damaged. Right? Now, when it's a wood item, it can be almost 50% damaged before it starts getting a cost. So you can go for a little while without having to repair. But when it comes to higher advanced, this is flint, it starts, I think, at like 30% is where the free cutoff is, somewhere in there, 25 or 30%. So if you use it at all, you're going to instantly need to be repairing it if you don't want to cost. So here's the thing though, the more damage it has taken, the more materials it costs. Like if I'd caught this at 50%, it probably will only cost 1 flint and maybe some resin. Now it's going to take refined wood, multiple flint, and multiple resin. Still, not a real bad cost here. Alright, so let's just repair all these real quick. Alright, and head out and find that gecko. Now, while we're on the way to the gecko, we'll go ahead and go over a few other things with a grappling hook, and we'll show you how that works. A lot of people seem to be confused about how the grappling hook works. I've seen other videos where you will just blow the grappling hook off because it doesn't work how it sounds. You would expect the grappling hook to, if I were to fire it, it's not equipped. If I were to fire it here, you would expect it to bring me up the tree, but if you notice, it just swings me and then we'll let go. Right? That doesn't actually take me up the tree. And sometimes you can hang on to it. It seems to be kind of random, whether it lets go or you hang on to it. Of course, if I bump into anything, I will instantly let go. So, or if the rope collides with anything, it will instantly let go. So this doesn't seem like what you would expect a grappling hook to do, right? So what is its actual use? Well, say we're in combat, or we're running away from combat, we need to get away faster, or we need to do a quick maneuver, we can fire that, and do a quick little maneuver. Now, if we were to, say, be going this way, we want to change direction, so we could move a little bit. I'm still getting the hang of it. But you see where this is going. Now, what the real strength of the grapple is when you're, this probably isn't tall enough. But there's places in the game where you can't quite, yeah, here this will work. Oh, no, I can. Oh, so you can't quite make it, and see, maybe on this side. Up to the ledge, just can't quite make it. Well, jump up there like this, pop that, and it'll boost you a little higher. Now, there's some steps you need to get up later in the game that you can't quite get over. Here, maybe this will be high enough. Sorry, I probably should find those steps, but there we go. Yep, perfect, just like that. And it'll get you up and over it. Use that last little boost to go up. And this is great for when you're climbing the big trees to claim your house at the top. It can be helpful. Not necessary, but it could be helpful. Come all the way out here without the gecko food. Alright, back to the base, get the gecko food, come back. No, I might as well show this to you then. I'm sure you've already seen it in other videos, but... Okay, so we quit to the main menu, and we're loading back in. And as you notice, we won't have saved where we were. Instead, it'll save our bed, and we're back at our base here. Okay, but while we're at it, you probably already know this, but we'll go ahead and show you. If you grapple, and your grapple catches the... Yeah, I didn't hit flag in time. Grapple catches the... Crap. Catches onto something like that. Like you saw it caught the branch and then it hit I grappled the branch and then hit another branch, right? The line crossed another branch and immediately broke my grapple and made me fall. That's another thing your grapple does, pull you out of glide mode. So if you're gliding, use a grapple, be aware of that and try and immediately hit re-glide as soon as you realize you're falling. I thought I did, I missed it. Maybe I was out of stamina. Okay, let's say for instance you die and you need to know where the gravestone is, or anything else. You can just come in here and click on it. And see how it gets that white glow around it. These have white glows, and turn those off. This one has a white glow. You can do that. Okay, that will. So, two. Anyway, so what the glowing does is it puts it on your mini map there. Alright, I guess mini map. Your compass at the top of your screen. It's not really a mini map. It's a compass. Whatever you set there, click on it, shows it there, so you know which direction to go. Now, you would think my gravestone would be down here because I swung on that and died and fell down. But the game has a safety feature installed in it. So if you fall off something high and die, it tries to do its best to think of where it can locate it so you can get back to it. And so it puts it up high. Sometimes this is good, sometimes this is bad. But the reasoning behind this is so you don't lose your stuff from falling off of something you probably that may be into an area where you can't actually get to. But one of the issues when using the grapple is, even if you aim at something high, it usually ends up dropping you a little bit low. Can end up dropping quite a bit lower than where you started. Okay, so for our next tip, how to tame, right? So you see we have a gecko. We have a gecko treat. But how do you actually use it? How do you actually tame it? Right, the treat needs to be in your inventory. You should notice you can't actually equip it or do anything with it. So, we have it in our inventory. Okay, with this treat in our inventory, we're going to fight the gecko. Alright, so to tame anything, not just a gecko, this includes ladybugs, you have to hit them. You have to basically beat them into submission and show them your boss. So once you've done that, it'll say tame. If you don't get the tame once they're below 50%, usually it's around 30% when you get the tame. Let's go ahead and tame before he kills us. There we go. We got him tamed. Now we can mount him. Release him. Tell him to stay. There we go. Alright, we got him tamed. Now, so you see we got the option to tame him by pressing Y on the controller. I think it's F on the keyboard. Now we can ride him, and he has his own stamina bar and health bar. Alright, so you just have the treat in your inventory, and you just feed it to him, and it's done. It's as easy as that. Taming is super simple. They're not very strong, right? Most of the tames in this game are not super strong. They're usually can be killed pretty easily. And currently, as you see, I'm trying to attack. You can't fight while riding them. Now, to heal them, you have to feed them. Alright, to feed them, you simply just throw food in front of them. So we'll give him some strawberry jam. Alright, we'll drop it to him. There we go. You come up and eat it. And now he heals. Alright. And that's all there is to healing them and riding. Now, if you get in trouble while you're riding them, something comes up and attacks you, and you don't think you can get away from it, you can dismount and he will fight. But, as you see, there's friendly fire. Okay, so if you're trying to help him fight, you may end up killing him. So in the end, it's kind of hard to keep your tames alive because you have to hop off and defend them, and then they'll try and defend themselves, and it becomes a whole mess. So hopefully they can do some work on that in the future. Alright, so what's the benefit of a gecko over like a grasshopper or something else like that? Not really much. I think it has a little more health than a grasshopper. You can't tame them right away. You have to unlock the treat. I think you unlock the treat by beating the first boss. By the time you beat the first boss, gecko's kind of weak. Doesn't really climb anything right now. And go in the water. I don't think they can swim either. Yeah, I'll probably drown if I do this. Yep. So, the gecko drown. They can't swim. So there is some water still barrier. I don't think any of the mounts can swim currently. Anyway, so yeah, that's geckos are not great. Honestly, once you have the wingsuit, tames are almost pointless. The reason to have them is to get a tame whistle, and when you're up high and you want to jump down, call them to you, use them to jump down, put them somewhere safe, tell them to wait, and move on. If you enjoyed this tips and trick video, make sure to smash that like button. Have an awesome day.